Marco Sully Perez on oil and gas extraction. Marco Sully Perez said oil and gas workers face unique health and safety challenges and are recognized by the National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health, NIOSH, as a priority industry sector under the National Workplace Research Initiative, NORA, to identify and develop intervention strategies in the labor sector protect health and safety issues. In 2011, the oil and gas and ancillary industries employed more than 450,000 people, quarterly census of employment and wages. Therefore, oil well drilling and field maintenance are two different types of business activities in the oil and gas industry. Drilling companies outsource their services to exploration and production companies to extract oil and gas. Exploration and production, companies find deposits and drill oil and gas wells. Crude oil extraction usually starts with drilling wells in an underground reservoir. Once the drill bit reaches the reservoir, a well can be built to produce oil or gas, and hydrocarbons can be pumped to the surface of the earth. An oil well is created by drilling a long hole in the ground with an oil rig. While the underground pressure in an oil field is sufficient to push the oil, along with some associated gases, to the surface, all it takes is to place a complex system of valves, herringbone, at the wellhead to connect the well into a pipeline network for storage and processing. There is a phenomenal amount of technology needed to continue drilling a long well in the same 10-foot to 2-mile range, but the process allows the well to access oil and natural gas at a greater distance than just the power directly under the well. Using specialized downhole pressure monitoring tools and real-time data, the fracturing fluid, which is 99.5% water and sand and 0.5% chemicals, many of which are found in everyday products, is pumped under high pressure through the borehole holes to create paper-thin cracks in the shale rock, releasing oil and natural gas trapped inside. Rigorous testing is carried out to ensure that the steel pipe is watertight before natural gas or oil production begins. When all of the oil and natural gas that has been produced, Colorado law requires that the well be permanently shut in and the land must be returned to the state it was in prior to drilling. Companies may decide to drill exploratory wells if analysis of seismic data shows geological formations that may contain oil and gas resources. The impact of deep water oil and gas operations begins with seismic surveys used to reveal subsurface geology and identify potential reservoirs. Oil and gas exploration is now a global industrial activity in the deep sea. While traditional commercial oil and gas, ONG, drilling has been performed in the United States for over 150 years, more recent processes use various unconventional extraction methods, such as hydraulic fracturing, to increase the ability of hydrocarbons to return to the surface. Here, we review activities associated with the development of offshore oil and gas fields in water depths greater than 200 m globally, the typical impacts of these activities, some of the most extreme effects of accidental oil and gas spills, and the current state of remediation in key areas of offshore industrial activity, including 18 exclusive economic zones. While natural resource management can be more challenging in deep-sea environments, the combination of these proven conservation tools can help develop sound environmental management strategies for deep-sea oil and gas production. Given that the oil and gas industry still operates almost entirely within national jurisdiction, and the scale and nature of its impacts differ from bottom fishing, the concept of VME may not be the most appropriate. As a major source of pollutants in oil and gas production, produced water is often treated to stringent standards before discharge, e.g., OSPAR, 2001. The amount of oil that can be recovered is determined by a number of factors, including the permeability of the rock, the strength of natural forces, presence of associated gas, adjacent water pressure, or gravity, the porosity of the reservoir rock, or calculating BO. Companies typically convert gas production into oil equivalent production. A certain amount of oil can be converted into a certain amount of natural gas in a similar way, and gas producers often use the term GFE to refer to production in terms of gas equivalent. Such activities may include the exploration of crude oil and natural gas, drilling, development, and equipment of wells, operation of separators, demulsifiers, dewatering equipment, and field collection lines for crude oil and natural gas, and all other oil and gas treatment activities up to the point of shipment from the producing facility. This subsector includes crude oil production, oil shale and oil sands production and extraction, as well as natural gas production, sulfur recovery from natural gas and recovery of liquid hydrocarbons. Midstream companies are responsible for transportation from oil and gas wells to refineries, while downstream companies are responsible for processing and selling finished products. Midstream companies are responsible for transferring raw materials to oil and gas refineries. The drilling process falls under the upstream category, one of the three main services of the oil industry, along with midstream and downstream. Before starting offshore drilling and oil production, companies must obtain the appropriate permits from the appropriate regulatory authority in Atlantic Canada. Global oil demand fell 25% in April but has risen sharply since then, cutting losses to 8%. Going forward, global oil demand is expected to pick up strongly but remain below pre-COVID-19 levels, about 4% less in the base case and about 7% less in the Rystad Energy's second wave scenario.